the Fox 29 studios, this is Good Day Philadelphia.
Fallout continues after Bill Cosby's retrial ended with famed TV dad being found guilty of the 3 counts levied against him on Thursday. Now Temple University has decided to revoke the Philadelphia native's honorary degree. On social media, the sex assault case continues to be one of the top trending topics. Another Cosby accuser, Beverly Johnson, released this statement saying in part, she felt, quote, an unexpected and deep sense of sadness, but of the carnage left in the wake of his horrific acts. However, the comedian's spokespeople continue defending their client and his innocence. During a TV interview yesterday morning, his reps compared the sex assault trial to the lynching of Emmett Till. Till was a black Mississippi teenager murdered in 1955 after a white woman falsely accused him of touching her. Cosby's team also said, quote, since when are all women honest? Referring to the more than 50 women who have accused the 80-year-old of sexual misconduct. Feeling great and confident is how sources close to Cosby are describing the 80-year-old who's awaiting sentencing. Joseph Marrone, our attorney, Chad Lassiter, our professor and cultural analyst. Join us this morning, Chad. Let's start with the lynching reference.
Yeah, very disgusting phrase to use in comparison to Emmett Till. When we know what Emmett Till went through, you know, the maiming of Emmett Till, the face that the world saw, just how Mississippi and the parts of the South were just dripping with white supremacy and anger and aggression towards blacks being falsely accused. Bill Cosby is a privileged individual who took agency and his own words from women and drugged them. So it's not a lynching compared to that legacy of Emmett Till and the legacy of his mother as well that was the catalyst for the civil rights movement. And so very annoyed by that, very disgusting comments.
Joseph, let's talk legalities. A lot of people saying Bill Cosby will be able to avoid prison time because Tom Mesereau, his lead attorney, plans to appeal. What do you think?
There's no way. Listen, he's going to jail. This is a man who's been convicted of sexually assaulting a woman by using drugs, right? So there's an enhancement. There's also additional women that we didn't forget about, at least up to 60. You will see an outcry that day. Judge O'Neill is going to be compelled to put Cosby in jail, and he will go to jail. The sentencing guidelines call for it. Technically, he could get 30 years. Now, they're going to merge it together, and he's going to look somewhere between 5 to 7 years. But he will go to jail. Now what's going to happen is there's going to be a team of doctors. Trust me, he's getting sicker by the minute. And they're going to say that this man is not capable of serving prison time, that he should remain in house arrest. That's what should happen. Still going to lock him up. What's going to happen is he's going to have an appellate team just on the bail. They're going to run down to the next level and look to get him released. I doubt very much it's going to happen. And then as far as the appeal on the merits, which there are a bunch of issues, they'll drag that out. But he is going to jail, you can rest assured.
All right.
And then from a cultural standpoint, I just wanted to add that I think that a lot of African Americans shouldn't do what a lot of white Americans do. And what I mean by that is we want to support Bill Cosby, even though we know he's a serial rapist, similar to those individuals who are on the other side of the color line who supported Donald Trump, even though he said, I grabbed him by the you-know-what.
But how's race playing into it? This is a gender issue.
Right.
Right? This is about women. This is about women's rights, about the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
How are they interjecting race? I think that was horrible when his people went on Page 6 and talked about that.
Right.
They should be talking about, you know, how it affects women, how this whole thing was all about women, and how the Me Too movement has been enhanced and where it's going.
Were you surprised, Chad, hearing moments after the guilty verdict, Bill Cosby's cussing at the prosecutor? Again, the image of Dr. Cliff Huxtable, he lived up to this role, and a lot of people are now saying it was all just an act.
Yeah, not surprised, because in fact, what we do is we have to separate, once again, the identities. Cliff Huxtable is entirely different from Bill Cosby. And so when I heard Bill Cosby go into that rage, it's part of the continuum of everything that we've been reading over the past couple of years as it relates to his behavior.
And it goes to his arrogance.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you got to remember, when this first occurred, okay, they whitewashed this back in '05. They didn't prosecute. All right, and that's why she went forward with the civil case. That was her only form of justice at that point. It wasn't until the deposition transcript got reopened, and all of a sudden, not only this case got back into the system, but 60 women came out.
Right.
Okay, and he still is denying that. And until this day, he's taking a position that this is a race issue when it's not.
Yeah, and a peculiar arrogance at that, Joe, in the sense that I'm Bill Cosby, you know, I can do what I want. And that's what made him take agency from individuals.
And that's the underlying reason of the whole Me Too movement. All these women who want to come forward, it's usually against a person of power, person of notoriety, and they just are never going to be able to penetrate this. This was a breakthrough moment for all these women.
And that's what we need to be looking at.
Exactly.
Right? Whether that be Weinstein, whether it be Tom Tom Brokaw most recently, whether it be Matt Lauer. This is an era that we really have to be able to make sure that we respect the voices of women.
Absolutely. Joseph, let me ask you this. Do you think the defense strategy, the way they went into this trial, calling names of the accusers, trying to defend their client, calling him the victim, do you think that sort of set the tone for how the jurors looked at him also for the rest of the trial? It
totally backfired. The whole idea, they portrayed her as the con artist. They took the $3.4 million and said that it was all about money.
Right.
When in essence, they didn't prosecute. That was our only avenue of justice. Same thing as the Goldmans and O.J. They lost the criminal case, so they sued O.J. and they got $30 million. You know, were they being greedy? No. Right. They were looking for justice. And the other fact is, he paid her $3.4 million. For somebody, I don't care how much money you have, to give somebody $3.4 million in Montgomery County is a lot of money, starts to show that you're guilty.
Right.
And I think that's the way they read it.
Gotcha. Chad, I'm sure you'll be discussing this a lot in your class.
Yeah, for the rest, the last 2 weeks.
Good man here.
Right, a lot happening. Thank you both for coming in.
Thanks for having me.